So, Barbara, all your life you have been an integral leader. You use integral approach in different aspects of your life. What means to be an integral leader?
Well, it started for me when I saw the United States drop the bombs on Japan in 1945. And a big question arose that made me an integral leader. Here's the question. What is the meaning of all our new power that's good?
Oh, yes.
What is our images of the future of humanity with science and industry and technology and all? I could see that we have power to destroy the world, but do we have power to evolve the world? And if we do, what images of the future would make it possible? And I found nobody knew. There wasn't anybody in those early days in the late 40s. And I got to meet President Eisenhower when he just became president. And I asked him the question, Mr. President, what do you think is the meaning of our new power that's good? He said, I have no idea. And so I began to research into philosophy and religion to see if anybody had something that would be worth going for with all this power. And basically, I first discovered it through Teilhard de Chardin. In his book, The Phenomenon of Man, now the human phenomenon, he pointed out the law of complexity, consciousness. As systems grow in complexity, they grow in interiority and connectivity and consciousness and freedom. And he saw it from, the divine pattern of creation was leading to higher order, was progressive, which the materialistic scientific view of evolution didn't reveal that at all. And then he saw what he thought was a kind of goal of evolution, is that the noosphere, the thinking layer of Earth, now in the social media of all kinds, would at some point connect heart with heart, center with center, and this thinking layer, this global brain, would wake up. And he was a priest, so he called it the Christification of the earth. That the nervous system that now is being connected so rapidly actually is a system, and right now it's got very confused signals to it. So I had what I would call a precognitive experience of what it feels like when the noosphere connects. And what I felt was empathy,
yes,
creativity, innovation, the connecting of innovations in energy and health, and the Buckminster Fuller scenario, a design science revolution just occurred to me, and I had an internal experience of what I called a planetary birth of the next stage of culture. And I heard the words, Barbara, our story is a birth. Go tell the story. So
yes,
I got that experience. Then I started to study cosmology and geology and biology and systems theory and whole system shift, and I realized that we had a lot of the pieces of it, but we had never come to a situation on Earth where we could destroy our own environment and civilization, and that none of the current structures, at the top-down pyramid structures, had the capacity for whole system shifting. So I developed a whole system model, and I called it the Wheel of Co-Creation, and I began to experiment with creating a wheel with all the functions, health, education, economics, and so forth, and bring people together to look for common goals and match needs with resources in these wheel-shaped environments. And then I invited Nobel Prize-winning scientists and innovators and spiritual leaders to say the new potentials of humanity. And we did the first one at Southern Illinois University in 1972, when Buckminster Fuller was there. And when those walls between the sectors of human endeavor came down, people started to connect, and I realized social synergy is love.
yes,
Social synergy is the impulse of evolution wanting to join with each other. And I believe we tapped in to a process which I'm thinking of really as a systemic evolution of democracy.
yes,
So I was not a scientist. I was a mother of 5. But I discovered this out of the passion of the shift.
Yes.
Then I began to meet all the great people.
Yes.
The Jonas Salks and Abraham Maslow and Thomas Paine and on. But I found that no one of us yet
Yes.
has a plan of action. So to make this long story short, we have initiated something called Birth 2012, Day 1, to see how many people would like to connect
Yes.
what's creative, loving, and good.
Yes.
Locally, globally, and eventually as a systemic shift to help the tip go in a positive direction.
Yes, and it seems also that it is a very good way to build in the four quadrant of Ken Wilber, the one which is right down, which is really the social one, how we build a society, a new culture,
Right.
and not only doing personal development, but really build a new context, isn't it?
It is exactly the four quadrants of Ken Wilber and the spiral dynamics of Don Beck, but there's another addition that I
Yes.
got from Sri Aurobindo,
Yes.
the great Indian sage, and also from my own experience, is that whatever the impulse of evolution is,
Yes.
that got us from no thing at all to energy, matter, billions of galaxies, trillions of planets, and so
Yes.
forth, that impulse has a tendency that you can experience subjectively
Yes.
as your own impulse
Yes.
to express, to be more, to do more. And I began to see as a woman, and
Yes.
as a feminine co-creator among millions of other women like that, I began to see that the impulse of evolution was incarnating as us.
Yes.
And it wasn't just I have a personal desire to do this or that. I, you, we, whoever gets turned on by this has an inner impulse that I call the genius of evolution. That if you breathe it up through yourself and all the way up through your heart and your vocation and your higher consciousness and all the way down, you begin to incarnate as what I call a universal human.
Oh, that is extraordinary, brilliant. Thank you, Barbara. So that is the first interview we do on this way. So thank you very much to be here in Tucson. We are at the end of the 2012 year, and we could say that you are the mother of the new era. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Michel.